Hi, I'm Jamey of Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in the new version of Ra. Ra is one of my favorite auction games with a push your luck element, and yet I'd never owned it until 25th Century Games reprinted it, put it on GameFound, I believe it was on GameFound, and I backed it, and I just got my copy the other day and played it for the first time. The components are really well done in this edition, with art and graphic design by Ian O'Toole, and big chunky components. I'll kind of hold up the box here. They barely fit into the box. You can see these big auction tokens here. There's a big Ra tile, and one of my favorite components in the game, there goes one of the bidding tiles, are the player mats themselves. The player mats do something that I think is really, really clever in this game, and that is they differentiate between tiles that are permanent, so you put permanent tiles over here, and tiles that go away at the end of the round, because this is a core part of Ra. There are some tiles that you're gaining, like the monuments, that are here for the rest of the game. The Pharaoh tiles, they're there for the rest of the game. And the Nile tiles, they're there. But there's some tiles that are temporary. They go away each round. And so you kind of value them differently. I think they're valued out mathematically really well here. But this really easily differentiates that you're clearing everything out over here and everything over here is staying. I think that's a really clever component touch. I have another video about Ra where I probably talk about push your luck, but I'm going to talk about it again here because I love the push your luck element of Ra. One of the key elements of the auction of Ra is that you only have either 3 or 4 bidding tiles based on your player count. You only have 3 or 4 of these. And so it's not like you have a big currency that you're spending. There is money in Ra, but these are points. You're not spending the money. Whenever you bid on an auction, you get one chance to bid, and you're bidding one of these tiles. And so, if you bid this tile, and you win the auction, the tile goes away, it enters the next auction, and you gain the tile that was in the auction and put it face down on the table to indicate that you can't use that again this round to bid on another auction. This adds a lot of tension to the auction. It means you can only win either 3 or 4, again, depending on player count, 3 or 4 auctions each round. And the round length is the push your luck element. Because as you're pulling tiles out of the bag, I have the bag deep in this box, I'm not going to pull it out here, but there's a giant bag of tiles. Typically on your turn, you're going to pull one of those tiles out, you'll put it on the board. If that tile is a Ra tile, a red Ra tile, it means that an auction happens automatically, whether or not you wanted an auction to happen. And that Ra tile, a certain number of Ra tiles on the board indicate that the round is over instantly. And so what can happen in Ra, and happened in our game the other day, is that sometimes players would wait until the end of the round. Maybe they're hoping to get a certain tile or a certain combination of tiles. They're hoping to get a bunch of tiles because the auction tiles are accumulating on the board if no one is winning them in an auction. And yet they're starting to push the end of the round. Maybe there's only 1 or 2 players left. Maybe it's just you left, and you're deciding, do I want to pull another tile out of the bag and add it so that I can gain a bunch of tiles in an auction without paying all that much, or with only paying the bidding tile that I have remaining, with no competition from other players or limited competition. But if I draw a Ra tile out of the bag, the round just ends. It can just end all of a sudden, and you don't even get to win that auction. And the other clever catch to this too is that not all of the tiles that you draw out of the bag are good, even the ones that go in the auction row. There's some disaster tiles that say, destroy 2 of your monuments if you gain this tile. And so there's this really nice tension to the game when you're pulling tiles out of the bag. Really making the decision to continue to pull tiles out of the bag versus just saying, this is good enough. I will take what's out here, or I will start an auction based on what's out here right now. I love that push your luck element of Ra, and continue to enjoy that even in this new version, which is really, really well done. So yeah, that's my favorite mechanism in Ra. Let me know if you have a different favorite mechanism in Ra, or whatever your favorite mechanism is in the game, or if you have another auction game that this reminds you of that you'd like to talk about in the comments below. Thanks.